volunteer to be my student? Okay, sir. It's easy. This is the easiest part. So this is when you should know.
She beat me to it.
Okay, come on up here. We can use the kind of right here. We'll sort of see so the camera can see. Are you good enough?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, hello, Sarah.
Hello.
And we're going to be doing some activities that's going to help you read and spell and think about different sounds and language better. Okay? So, I'm going to draw a picture of a person's head and whatnot. And I'm not a very good artist, so don't laugh. Okay? Now, what is it inside of our head that helps us learn and think?
Our brain.
Our brain, right? So I'm going to draw a picture of our brain right here. Okay? Now, there's different ways that we take in information and learn, right?
Yeah, an iPad, a computer, a TV.
Okay, so if you are looking at a TV or an iPad,
Or a
okay,
book.
or a book, right? Here's our book here, right? You are using what to see? What part of your head or face are you using? What senses are you using to look and see?
Your eyes.
Your eyes, right? Draw a little picture of your eyes right here. Okay? Now, what if you set a TV, right? Here's my little TV and here's the speakers. What do we use to listen to sounds? Or maybe if someone's speaking to us, what part of our head do we use to listen?
Right here.
Our ears, right? So I'll draw a little picture of our ears. Okay? Sometimes when we learn, we also have to talk. Right? We can see and we can hear, and sometimes we want to talk out what we just heard. So what do we use to talk? Our mouths, right? Okay. Sometimes we like to move when we learn.
What?
You ever learned to dance before?
No.
Okay. Sometimes if you learn to dance, you have to actually move to the dance, right? So we can, what do we use to move? Our feet, and even our arms, really our whole body, right? So, and then, I don't need to draw the whole body, but there's another part that we use, another sense that we use. It's really important when we learn, and that's feeling, okay? What do we use to feel? What part of our bodies do we use to feel? Okay. So I'll draw a little hand right here. Okay. We use our fingers. Our fingers, are those the only part of our body that we use to feel?
Toes. You ever stepped on a Lego in the middle of the night?
Yes, I have. Doesn't feel good, does it?
Oh, it's
So you can feel with your toes, you can feel, I want you to touch your lips here. Touch your lips. Okay. Can you feel, not just with your finger, but can you feel with your lips? Can you tell that your lips are touching your finger by feeling with your lips? How about this?
Yeah, maybe.
I want you to keep your mouth closed, and I want you to, with your tongue, touch the top of your mouth. Are you touching it? How do you know you're touching it? Can you see it? Can you see your tongue? Can you hear your tongue? Okay, how do you know that you're touching your tongue at the top of your mouth? Can you feel it?
Well, yeah, because if I bit down, I'd like bite.
Right, have you ever bit your tongue? It doesn't feel good, right? So you can feel with your
A lot of
hands,
blood.
you can feel with your fingers, you can feel with your mouth, your lips, your tongue, all different parts of your body. So we're going to be moving, feeling, seeing, hearing, and speaking. And we're all going to do this and integrate it. Let's say integrate and use our brain with all of these different senses. And that's going to help us read and spell better.
I don't know, Mr. Adam. I think you're kind of crazy. My teacher said I have to keep my hands to myself.
Well, when we do this program, you get to do a lot of moving and you feeling. feel your lips, you can feel your tongue, you can do all kinds of stuff. So,
Are you sure you can learn with such a
so that is, right there, your very quick, easy, simple introduction to this program, which is called Setting the Climate. That you're probably going to be speaking to an individual who might be first grade or young one. So keep it age appropriate. Make your words, your word choice, your presentation, your questioning, make it all age appropriate. But the biggest thing is keep it short and simple. So if you're going over 6-7 minutes, it's just you talking, especially, right? And did you guys notice that as I presented this, it was not me so much talking, but it was a lot of asking questions. So you guys are started the Socratic approach, which is a lot of asking questions and discovering. So there were a couple times I watched, and even maybe when Sarah was my student, where I may have asked a question and I didn't get the response I wanted, or they're just staring at you like, because they're our kids, right? Kids we work with, not always going to give you the answer that you want. So how can we fix that? What do we do when they're not giving us the answer? Do we tell it to them?
In OG, you show a picture and go to the blocking steps.
Ask it a different way.
Yeah.
Respond to the
How do you change the question?
Ask it a different way, I guess.
Okay, you could do that, make it more age appropriate, right? If you're asking them and you're using the verbiage as when I said integrate, I'm not going to use that with an 8-year-old. Okay, but what you would do is give choice and contrast. Okay. So
Give an example.
if I asked, what do we use to see and see information? Obviously, the answer I'm looking for is eyes, right? It's a very basic one. If they don't give me the answer I'm looking for, I would give them a choice and contrast. Do we use our eyes or our ears to see? So I'm giving 2 or more choices, usually just give 2. And let them choose. So again, you're not lecturing to them, you're not telling them. Again, you're questioning them and making them think. So that would be my take. Okay. Were there any other issues that you guys had that, that I didn't put up here that we didn't talk about?
Just
Any other
remember what we need to
difficulties?
ask.
Remembering it?
Yeah, that's my problem.
Yeah, just keep in mind the purpose, the why. Why are we doing this? Maybe we can talk about that. What's the purpose of setting the climate with your student? What do we want to get across to them? If we were to summarize this, what would we?
The expectation and what it's going to look like, so they're prepared.
Kind of, yeah, explaining what we're going to do.
Yeah. Do they need to be prepared?
Need some buy-in,
Somewhat.
some buy-in from
Yeah.
the student.
Yeah. But what are we really talking about? When we're drawing the brain and all these different senses, we're talking about what? When we're
The
talking
3
about
pathways.
Multi-sensory.
the multisensory pathways, right? So keep that in mind. You want to talk about, we want them to understand and discover that this is going to be a multisensory approach to learning how to read and spell. Always keep that in the back of your head. So if you're stuck on what to do or what to say, think about, why am I doing this? And that'll help you. Then you can practice on your own, okay?
Okay.
All right. Good morning, Deb. All right, so last session, we discovered what we're going to be doing in our program here, and how we're going to be using different senses and parts of the body to see and hear and feel. And then we also learned what noisy and quiet sounds were, and how to feel right here and tell the difference between the noisy and quiet sounds. Right? Okay, well now we're going to start learning our consonants. Do you have a brother or sister? Okay. Who's a brother or sister?
Sister.
Okay. And your sister, do you have something in common with your sister?
Our eyes.
Eyes of what color?
Brown.
Okay. You both have brown eyes. Do you have something different about it between the
She's
two?
taller.
Okay. So, being related, you probably have more similarities, but you do have a little one difference, right? So that's what sisters or brothers are. They're related, they have a lot of common traits, but they may share something that's different as well. Well, we can think about sounds that way and letters. They can be brothers or sisters, okay? And we're going to discover our first pair of brothers or sisters. You want us to call it brothers or sisters? You want to say sisters?
Sisters.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to have you make this sound for me. And I have a mirror right here, so I'll give you that mirror, and I want you to look in the mirror. So you're going to be using your eyes when you make that sound to look at yourself. You're going to use your ears to hear yourself. And then remember we talked about feeling? You can feel with your lips and your tongue and your mouth to feel what you're doing in your mouth, what parts of the mouth you're using. Okay? So I want you to make this sound for me. Good. And I want you to look in the mirror to make the sound and listen to with your ears. And I want you to feel with your mouth when you make that sound. And I want you to tell me what part of your mouth are you using? Are you using your lips or your tongue?
My lips.
Okay. You're using your lips. And what do those lips do? Are
Together.
they're coming together, right? They're touching, okay? So let's give it a word. Let's call it something. Are they tapping each other or are they popping?
Popping.
Popping. And I want you to take your fingers, remember we take our two fingers, how we felt with our throat right there. I want you to put your two fingers right in front of your mouth, right here, and make that sound and tell me what you feel.
I feel my breath.
You feel a little bit of air coming out, right? Is it coming out in like a puff of air, or is it coming out in a long stream of air?
The short one.
A short puff of air, right? Okay. So I want you now to look at these three pictures here that I have. All right? And I want you to tell me what picture.
Oh,
You're right.
okay.
Why did you choose that one?
Because when the air is coming out, my lips aren't very far apart.
They're close to each other. And what do you see? What is this a picture of right here?
That's a cloud, so I'm guessing that's the air coming out.
Right, it's like a puff of air coming in, right? We're going to give that sound a name. Every sound that we learn, we're going to have a special name for it. It's kind of cool because only you and I can know these, right? And we'll have our own little language,
Okay.
right? So we're going to give that sound a name, and it's going to be called a lip popper, because we use our lips to make the sound, and the action that our lips take is popping. Okay, so we call it a lip popper. Okay? And I want you to tell me, is that lip popper, that sound that you made? And remember how we felt. I want you to tell me if it's noisy or quiet.
Quiet.
Quiet, very good. Because it's not vibrating right there, right?
Right.
Okay. So I want you to take your picture of your lip popper and kind of bring it close to you there. See it, yes? Okay, and I want you to show me which letter makes that sound. Okay, what letter is that?
This letter.
E, okay. And what we'll do is we'll put it right underneath here, and we're going to put it right here, because that's a spot for the quiet lip popper. All right? And let's talk about P. All right? What is P made of? Is it made of lines or circles or both a line and a circle?
A line and a circle.
Right. And we can even talk about how we make that. Okay? So when I draw a P, I start at the top here and I make a line down, a line up, and then I do a circle to the right. Okay? Can you trace that for me and can you talk how I just talked?
Line down, come back up, and circle at the top.
Okay, very good. Now, can you write in the air what you just did? Line down,
Line down,
line
line
up, circle,
line up.
circle. What direction do you go? So do you go to the right or to
I
the
go
left?
to the right.
Okay, good. If you were to close your eyes, can you see the letter P in your head?
Yes.
Can you give it a color?
Black.
Okay. What's the background color? Any color you want. Okay. You can even make the letter itself. You can put some sparkles to it. You can put some designs to it. Maybe it's striped. Maybe it has sparkles. Maybe whatever you want to do.
Sparkles.
Okay. What color are the sparkles?
Pink.
Okay. So now that you can see it in your head, I want you to go ahead and write it in our gel pad right here. And I want you to continue talking like we did before. So
Line down, line up, circle at the top, and then go to the right.
very good. Now let's do that same thing. You're going to draw your letter, and I want you to say P says.
P says,
Very good. Okay. You can even write it in the air. Really dig. P says. Okay. Or you can do it if you have your OG. P says. Okay. Very good. So we've just discovered our first consonant sound right there. Okay. I want you to try to think. Remember we talked about sisters?
yes.
Well, P, the lip popper, quiet lip popper, has a sister. It's also a lip popper, but she's going to be noisy.
Okay.
So let's see if you can discover what that is. All right, go ahead and make the quiet lip popper. This time, do the same thing with your mouth. But this time, you're going to turn on that voice box. There you go. What letter did you just make?
B.
B. Do you see a B right here?
Yes, I
Go ahead and take the B, put it right next to its sister. Okay, so we have the quiet lip popper and we have the noisy lip popper. Okay, let's talk about the letter B. Is it made up of lines or circles or both lines and circles?
do. Both lines and circles.
Okay, let's talk about how we make it. This is how I do it. I do line down and then a circle to the right. And you can trace that and talk it out.
Line down and circle to the right.
Okay, good. Can we do that in the air? Talk out loud?
Line down and circle to the right.
Good. And then in our gel pack, we can do the same thing.
Line down and circle to the right.
Good. And then we can even do with our Orton Gillingham. B says B, and then in our gel.
B says,
Okay, very good. And can you visualize that in your head? Close your eyes and see if you can see B. Give it a different color.
yellow.
Yellow. What's the colors of that?
Black.
Black.
Something like a bumblebee.
Okay, very nice. And then go ahead and trace it again in the air and say it out loud, keeping your eyes closed.
B said,
Okay, and then tell me how you make it and talk out loud.
down, line down, and a circle to the right at the bottom.
Very good. Okay. All right. That's it. So we learned the first of the pairs, which is called the lip poppers. Everything was discovery, right? It was all Socratic questioning.
I have a question. So as we're doing this, the reason I looked at it was, I could, oh, I want to cut that out of the video. He constantly gets those two letters confused. So this would be something I could do in a lesson with him to get him, would that help him? I mean, this is a constant student.
Yes.
This would be.
How many of you guys have worked with people who get kids that get the P's and the B's mixed up?
Constantly.
Then we do our B checker and all this.
Right, and that doesn't seem to have any effect on him, but this, I think I can put that Leah, because she knows what I think he would get this.
I had a student, part of the reason I got so excited about this is I had a student who could not process the difference between and.
Yes.
And so we did this, and it was like, oh my gosh.
Should the light bulb go on? Thank you.
Now, it's been unfixed a few times since then, but, you know, she has to stop, you know, but it helps so much. She's the one who told me that her brother was having a 4 party. And I'm like, well, he's 7. She goes, 4. 4, the guy with the hammer. And I go, 4. And she goes, yeah, 4. And I told her mom that, and her mom said, welcome to my world. Same thing, same confusion.
Adam, what if, when you got to the point where, which of these letters makes the puff, and the child doesn't recognize the letters to know that, he's grabbing P, how do you fix that?
So like if they don't know P?
They don't know their letters, they couldn't recognize this and say that's P when you
Then you
introduce
just have to
it?
tell them.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Most of the kids that we're gonna get, or you're gonna work with, are probably, or beyond that, or have been at least introduced their letters and sounds, basic level.
Would you do this at the preschool level to get children ready to read?
Yeah, as long as they have the vocabulary to where they can understand and answer your questions and talk about it.
I observed Adam doing this for an hour, 45 to 50 minutes with a 5-year-old. And she did not have an attention span, but, you just keep it going and keep asking them and,
I think it's good for like when they reverse letters as well,
Mhm.
to actually have them visualize and everything. It helps with the reversals.
So something that Gordon Gillingham does really well is the multisensory, tactile, kinesthetic movement, right? And that I just integrated into this, which wasn't really part of when you go, but that's a good part of it. But something that OG doesn't do is talk about the formation.
and the imagery.
And the imagery, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So we're taking the best of what's still.
Now, tell me again how you brought the B in there, because you said something to her and I was writing and missed it.
So I know it's probably a lot. Was it a lot to take in?
Yeah, but go transition from the one to the other.
How about we just kind of break down the main steps on the board?
Okay.
Yeah, I'll love
That's
that.
even better.
What was the first thing that I did?
Connected it to what you already taught,
Yes.
which is,
We
we already
reviewed.
talked about noisy and quiet.
Right.
Yeah, we reviewed one, I guess. Noisy versus quiet. Then what was the next thing that we did?
Did an analogy.
Yeah,
of
what?
the brother-sister
Yes.
family thing.
Kind of talked about brothers and sisters and how they're different. And they have mostly the similarities and then a few differences.
It's an only child Jeff come up with.
Yeah.
Do you know any brothers?
Yes.
Your invisible friend. It's your invisible sister. What is that?
Or your pets. How's your dog and cat, something like that.
Yeah, whatever you can do. Then what was the next thing I did?
Mirror. And we're gonna make this sound and
Yes.
we're gonna analyze.
So what sound did I get first?
Quiet.
I had her make the sound. What sound was it? The P?
Yeah.
And then she had to mirror.
In mirror.
And I told her about not just seeing in the mirror, but also hearing herself make the sound and feeling. And then what did I do next? after she made the sound, how did I start to, she has to discover what it's called, right?
Say what part of the mouth,
Okay,
or what parts.
Is that when you named it, or had
Yeah.
come up with a name, the lip popper? Oh, I see.
okay. And again, if they don't know, what do you do?
Give them contrast and.
Choice and contrast.
Choice and contrast.
And I said, switch your tongue, right? Choice and contrast. And then, so she discovered what part of the mouth, then what's the next part of the label? It's a lip what?
Popper.
Popper. So in most of these labels, it's going to be, number one, what part of the mouth they're using. Number two, what is the action that is being taken. So she discovered it was the lips. Now she's going to discover the action. And I said, what are those lips doing? And are they going to come up with the word popper or poppy?
No, that's where you give them a choice.
Again, choice and contrast. What did I say?
Tapping.
Yeah, I said tapping or popping. You could say scraping or popping.
Would it be a good idea for us to write lip popper on back of our
If
little?
you want to. You guys are gonna memorize this stuff. Remember, I'm not tester.
Well,
You have to know all this.
We're gonna memorize.
But we have poor visual memory.
And if we expect our 5 and 6-year-old kids who are dyslexic to remember this, then you are too. And here's the trick. Do they have to remember it? Or how are they gonna
They have to know how
retrieve
to
it?
find it by going back through,
They use their
analyzing.
senses.
Right.
Yeah. They just feel right. Talk it out. You guys can do that too. If you're taking the test, yeah, I see you guys doing this. It's okay.
It's an open mirror test.
So again, choice and contrast. Okay, then what did I have her do?
Is that when you found the picture?
So then we named it, right? We're gonna call this a lip popper. Okay, then what?
Then you got it out, did you trace it? Did you write the way it did it?
No, you
Is that
asked
Before-
to identify the letter that you thought would go with that.
Before we went to the letter,
figured it
Found the picture.
we found the picture. Okay,
Oh.
Find the
that's
picture.
picture.
and if they make an error, later on, we're gonna be going over error handling.
Find the picture of the letter.
Of
the
the
sound.
sound.
Of the sound.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, it's more of the focus on the sound. That's why we talked about the sound first, then we went to the picture, and then finally, we went to the letter. Because so many times these kids or
Find the
teachers
picture of
wanna
the
go letter.
sound.
Letter first,
This, find the picture of the sound.
okay? And then you can question why. Why did you choose that one? And have them tell you why. Make sure they're using the words lip and pop when they talk back to you. And then what we do?
Then you found the letter.
Then we found the letter, right? Did I just have the letter out, or did I have a bunch of them out?
Get a bunch out.
And so
I had like, yeah,
Five,
like
four,
5 of them
five,
out
six.
for them to choose from. Okay, again, more choice and contrast. Same thing with the picture, right? So 8 is find the letter. And then what did we do?
Talk about the letter.
Talk about the letter, right?
Shape.
The shapes, lines, and so we can discover
Well, you talked that it was a quiet letter first versus a noisy.
Oh, thank you.
And then we talked about the shape.
Oh, that would be about up here.
Here. So that's under, when you find the picture.
We're gonna call it a lip popper,
Okay.
and then, sorry, I skipped that one, thank you. And then that's when you question, is that noisy or quiet? Formation, I guess. And you can use vocab words like lines and circles or curves. And then you want them to, what do we do when we talk about the lines? We discovered the lines in the circle.
In the direction that they may go.
Right. So the actual formation of drawing it, the proper way of drawing it, how we want them to do it.
Okay, line down.
Right.
And up.
Line down, was it with P, right? Line down, line up, circle to the right.
And if they get confused left, right, how can we simplify that verbiage?
I mean, obviously you want them to have, they have to know that, but if they don't, that.
Yeah,
Or
just like we
just
do in
help.
Orton, I guess.
We model
Some-
it,
Yeah.
and
some
then
kids-
they're doing it, again, what you're doing, using the correct verbiage. They may not know right, but if
Yeah.
they do it the way you did it,
Yeah,
And that repetitive. that's gonna
Yeah.
help.
can we bring up any, like, I call this my P checker, so can we do something
you
like
can do
this
that.
at that time?
Yeah, you can say, look at my phone, and what does it look like? You can use the Socratic method and question them that way.
Yeah, that's good.
And
And then
then,
this
so
is
you want to
the-
trace, you're going to air right,
it doesn't work quite as well.
sky right, air right, whatever you want to say.
So, well, I would make that.
And then gel pack or sand.
So,
This is hip
trace.
We all know how good sand is,
Still
because you're
not.
tactile, but it just makes it better.
What does that say?
Where-
I
Trace
can't
what?
write like that.
Trace,
Trace, air right, gel
And
pack.
gel pack.
trace,
Air.
air, oh, okay, sorry.
Air, yeah, air right. My kids don't like looking at
And then you want to visualize. And this is the symbol imagery part of it. And remember, have them close their eyes. They want to make sure that they picture it. We talk about colors, different.
Have them give it a color, right?
Yeah, they can give it a color. They can give it different designs in their head. This is kind of fun for kids.
What did you write after visualize? Is that an S and an I?
Yeah,
SI
symbol imagery.
Symbol, okay.
When you do that visualize next to number 10, when you're picking their colors, do you ever have like 2x5 cards and a bunch of markers or a bunch of crayons and have them actually draw it
Yes.
out them, so
Yep.
then they have their own decorative line?
Yes.
Well,
That's
that's a good
something you can
idea.
really do a lot of too.
Okay.
So this is, again, take the OG part of it, if you want to, and make a card for them.
What is this stand for?
S symbol imagery.
Do you ever have a student that says they can't see it when they close their eyes?
Yeah, sometimes I guess, but.
I mean, is there
then
anything
that
you
would
do?
be- That would be a good time to get the markers
Okay.
in. Yeah.
Provide the picture, like
Yeah.
it would be.
I found an app, it's called Easy Writing, and it's free, and it has lowercase letters. You get a stylus and have all these different colors
Oh, yeah.
and draw it.
And all that,
We can do all
anytime you
that.
use technology and any apps that you can do, a handwriting app, there's tons of them out there,
Yeah.
they're free. Feel
What
free
is
to
it
use
called?
that with your,
Easy
especially with kids
Writing.
these days. Have them draw on your phone. That works really well.
That's their favorite part. Can I decorate my letters now?
And that will, if they decorate their letters and all that stuff, then they'll never,
They have ownership of it.
yeah, it's ownership of it. They're always gonna visualize it. You gotta practice that though. show it to them for a few seconds, and then take it away. What colors did you make? What, did you put sparkles on it or not? Okay, and then the last part was discover the noisy brother. Right. Sometimes they won't be able to do that. Maybe we just have to help them. Again, giving them choice and contrast.
So your goal would be to do the brothers together?
Yes. And then you would go right back up and repeat 8 down. So when they discover boop, the sound, then you're going to ask them what letter makes that sound. They're going to find the letter, put it underneath the picture. And then again, do your simple imagery and all that. Your multi-sensory. How long did it take me to do that? Just for us to discover the first brother pair and do symbol imagery, which adds a little bit more to it.
Less than 10 minutes.
So this will be probably the hardest one for you because there's just so much to remember to go through it. But when you guys, the more you start introducing, the more practice you get, it'll become much easier.
Is this the same thing as working on the only interviews?
Again, I'm going to have these two pictures out along with the TD and the K and the G. And I'll kind of go through the same process. And it'll be a little easier for you guys this time because you get to know the process better. The language is going to be a little different because we're learning a different brother here. Okay? All right. Kathleen. So we've just learned our first brother pair here, the lip hoppers. We learned the quiet brother, or sister, and the noisy one. So we're ready to move on and learn our next brother or sister pair. You want to call it brother or sister?
Sister.
Okay, so let's learn our next sister pair. So let's get your mirror. Here's your mirror, and I want you to go ahead and make this sound for me. Okay, good. And remember, we can look in the mirror and make that sound, and we can hear, and we can also feel our mouth. So I want you to tell me, what in your mouth are you using? Are you using your lips or your tongue? Your tongue. And what part of the tongue are you using? The front part of it or the back part of it?
Front.
Right. And is it touching the top of your mouth or the bottom of your mouth?
Top.
Good. So we can kind of, let's just take my hands here and pretend like my hands are my tongue and the top of my mouth. Let's say this is the top of my mouth and this is my tongue right here. So you said it's the front of your tongue, it's hitting the top of your mouth. Okay, and what is it doing? We know it's the tongue, but what is it doing? Is it popping like our lips are popping, or is it kind of tapping? Tapping, okay. So we're going to call that sound, again, our special name for it. It's a tongue tapper. Because we're using our tongue, and our tongue is tapping. So I want you to go ahead and choose what picture would be our tongue tapper.
Well, my mouth isn't opening very much, so I'm thinking that it would be this one.
Right. And we can also feel, we can take our 2 fingers right here, we can put our in front of our mouth. And what's coming out? What do you feel coming out?
A little puff of air.
A little puff of air. Okay, and again, you You see the little puff of air. Why did you choose this picture?
Because when I looked in the mirror, I saw that my mouth wasn't open very much, and that person's mouth is not open very much.
Right, and what can you see working inside the mouth?
I see the tongue is, it looks like it's at the top.
Right. The front of the tongue and it's hitting the top of the mouth, right? Okay, good. And do you know what letter makes that sound?
T?
T. Can you pick out the T and can you put that underneath our picture? Okay. And I want you to tell me, again, let's feel, and I want you to tell me if it's noisy or quiet.
Feels quiet.
It's quiet, so we just learned our quiet tongue tapper, okay? And we can practice this. We'll go through the symbol imagery on that out, just to see. You guys can do this with our model imagery practice. So let's pretend like we went through our whole symbol imagery. We did our practices. Okay. So you just learned your quiet tongue tapper. So I want you to discover what's going to be her sister, the noisy tongue tapper. And we can do that by, again, making your quiet tongue tapper. And then you can feel right here. And this time, let's turn on our voice box. Make it noisy. There you go. What letter makes that sound? D. D. Go ahead and choose the D. And put it under D. Okay. Now you've just discovered the sister pair of the tongue tappers, the quiet and the noisy. And again, I would do single imagery with the D as well. So, all right, Denise. So we have learned our lip poppers and our tongue tappers. So we are ready to move on to our next pair of sisters. Do you want to call them sisters or brothers?
Sisters is good.
Okay. So we're going to learn our next pair of consonant sisters. All right. We have our mirror right there. I got some more pictures and some more letters that you can choose from. So I want you to make this sound for me. Okay, go ahead and look in the mirror. And you're seeing it and you're hearing it. I want you to feel as well what you're using in your mouth. So let's discover that. What are you using in your mouth to make that sound? Are you using your lips or your tongue?
I'm using my tongue.
Right. And is it the front of your tongue like we discovered with the tongue tappers, or is it the back of your tongue?
It's the back of my tongue this
Back.
time.
So again, remember how we did our hands and we pretended like this hand was the top of our mouth and this hand was our tongue. And our tongue tapper was in the front, tapping like this. Okay? So now we're using the back of our tongue. What's it touching or what's it hitting? What part of our mouth, the top or the bottom?
I feel like it's going up.
Up, touching. Okay, is it in the front or the back of your mouth?
It's in the back,
Okay.
and it feels like it's going up. I
Okay.
don't really feel like it's touching the very, very back, but I feel it's raising up.
It's almost kind of hard to feel. If you even look, maybe if you make the sound and open your mouth even more and look in the mirror, you can see that tongue touching. Go ahead and open your mouth and really try to
Check out your
see your
dental.
tongue.
Yeah, if you take it from this angle,
Yeah, you have to look. So what is that tongue doing?
I can see it goes way up.
Is that tongue tapping or is it kind of scraping?
I think it's more scraping.
Right, so it's kind of like we're taking our tongue and we're just slowly just scraping it to the top and back part of our mouth right there. Okay, so we're going to call that sound a tongue scraper.
Okay.
Because we're using our tongue and it's scraping the top of our mouth right there. Okay? And what do you feel coming out of your mouth when you make that sound? You're just hearing.
I'm puffing air.
It's a puff of air, right? Okay, good. So we have some pictures here, and I want you to try to find the tongue scraper picture. And
Well, this is the puffing symbol, so I'm going to choose this one because, and I see tongues way back there.
Right, so you see the back of your tongue working, it's at the top of your mouth, and there's a puff of air coming out. Like these right here, these lines right here, these would be more like streams of air coming out. We'll learn about those later.
Okay.
So here is our tongue scraper picture. And I want you to tell me what letter makes that sound.
That's that K.
Right.
That sound.
Okay. And they might say C, right? And if they say C, that's good, you're right. C does make that sound. Well, we're gonna talk about C later on. So for right now, we're just gonna talk about K. And is that quiet or noisy? You can feel if you need to.
It's quiet.
It's quiet, very good. Okay. And then we do our simple imagery, doing all the PAK movement, all that stuff right there. Okay. All right. So we've just learned the quiet tongue scraper, and we know it's the letter K that makes that sound. So let's discover K's noisy sister. So I'm going to let you see if you can figure out what it is first. You can make the K sound, the tongue scraper sound. And now try to turn on your voice box and see if you can get it.
Good. Good.
Very good.
Good.
What letter makes that sound?
Good.
The G makes that sound.
Right.
Good.
And then you might, the kid might say, but G can say another sound, or G says J. You're right. And we're going to learn about that other sound that the G can make later on. Okay. Then again, here's some image.
Do you do simple imagery regardless? I mean, if it's an adult?
Yeah, if it's and then you want to make your own decision on that.
Yeah.
If it is
I'm thinking the older
an older
student
kid, yeah.
I'm working with, I mean, she definitely needs, the sounds, but haven't heard, you know what I mean? I feel like I would be losing some.
Yes, you need to teach to the age appropriate,
Okay.
the age of your student. If you can diagnose that they don't have any orthographic processing issues, or they're beyond that, or they're older, just. First thing I like to do is just have them assemble. So I'm going to make a mess here. Okay. All right. Debbie, we have learned the first three brother pairs are lip poppers, our tongue tappers, our tongue scrapers, and the quiet, noisy sisters. So what I want us to do now is we're going to really practice and make sure that this is nice and solid before we move on to more sounds, okay? So what I want you to do first is I want you to assemble our pictures with the letters that go with it, and the sounds that go with it. But I don't want you just to put it together like a puzzle. I want you to make the sounds, feel your mouth. You can use the mirror. You can be looking at it. You can be hearing it. And I want you to talk out loud what's going on with your mouth, what's going on with those sounds, and why you would put it with each picture. Okay? So, go ahead and start with any picture you want. And I want you to talk to me and tell me what's going on in your brain. Every thought that you think is in your brain, I want you to talk out loud.
Debbie, maybe not. Listen, no, you don't.
Okay, getting carried away. I'm picking this picture, it has a puff, and can't hardly, I couldn't see the teeth, so this go with your lips are involved, so.
Can you make that sound? And what do we call that sound?
And when the lips do, you can feel the air coming out first, and that's
Is it popping or tapping?
popping.
If
So,
we're struggling, I can give them a
so
source of
it's
contrast.
lip pop,
Good. And what letter did you put right there?
P.
Why did you put the P there first?
It is the,
You can say it in voice. Quiet.
quiet, I cannot think of it. Quiet one, there's no vibration, and it has a brother that is noisy. You can feel the vibration.
And where are you gonna put that one?
And that was going to go next.
And what letter is that?
That's a B.
Okay.
Letter B.
Good, so you got
And
your
those
first
are
one,
the lip
you got the lip
poppers.
poppers assembled. So let's do the next one.
All right.
Anyone you wanna do?
K says k.
And
This, because this is the one that I'm with it, it's harder for me to feel, but that good, that tongue is in the back,
and what's that tongue doing?
scraping.
So what do we call that sound?
Tongue scraping.
Right.
And K is the quiet one of the pair. And then if you turn on the voice box, then you good. So G is the voiced part of that pair. Good. And the tongue is scraping back. And with the puppet hair.
Good. So you got your second sister pair assembled.
And of course, this is all that's left, so I know this
So it must be
true. It must be right. Why? Because you still have, for example, the T says t, t. And I used to focus on the teeth, and I really focus on the tongue.
You can talk about the teeth.
Tapping, I mean, they are involved, because they're stopping the air, but so it's the unvoiced, but there's still a puff of air. So tongue, but it's more the tongue tapping,
So we call that.
tongue tapper.
Yeah.
And so then you have a noisy partner or brother to the T, and you do t, t, d, d. Excuse myself. And D is the, well, T's quiet, D is noisy, and it's a tongue tappers.
Why did you choose that picture? I know that it was the last one, but you have to tell me.
Well, it's got a puff, but also you can feel the air. Do.
So the puff of air is coming out, right?
And you can more see the teeth on this one.
Okay.
And the tongue, you actually can see it kind of tapping, and it's in the front.
Right.
In the taps in the front and the top of the mouth.
Okay. Very good.
And there we have lip puffers, tongue scrapers, tongue tappers.
Awesome.
Very good.
She's obviously the model. Let's go to our triangle here. And I should be able to give her any part of the triangle, and she should be able to give me the other two parts. Does that make sense? Okay. So, if I say, Debbie, I want you to show me where the noisy lip popper is. And what letter is that?
B.
Give me the
is a
sound.
noisy lip popper.
Okay? And show me in the picture, and you know, the picture's right there, so that's fine. Okay, so I started with the label, right? Now, let me start with the sound. Debbie, make this sound for me. Good. And I want you to tell me what letter makes that sound and what is the name of that sound.
G, the letter G makes the sound good.
You can point to it if you want.
And it is a, lip scraper, it's a tongue scraper.
Right. Do you need to memorize? Do we need them to memorize it?
We don't want
We don't want them to rely on memory.
But I would, you would learn.
They've got to
Yes.
learn.
Good.
If she is struggling right here,
Good.
she could use the mirror, okay? And she could talk it out.
Yes.
Good, I can feel my tongue scraping, and that's a tongue scraper.
It's not, or else to do the knot, it's not puffing.
Right.
Good. It's not.
If she can't retrieve it, then she can talk it out. tell me everything that's going on in the
And
mouth.
the tongue's not tapping, it's okay to do that. It's not a tapper, it's not a puff, not a popper.
So I did
As
the,
a tongue scraper
right, and
symbol.
symbol, right? So
And I did the pictures before, right?
I want you to point to the D. Okay, talk about the D. What's it made up of, lines? How do you know
Circles
that's a D?
and lines, because the circle comes first and then the line.
And then make the sound one.
Did.
And what's the name of that sound?
Tongue tapper.
Okay, good. So she's receiving and expressing. So now, the next step is the oral part, right? We're taking away the pictures right there, okay? Can you still, I want you to, we're taking away the pictures, but I still want you to visualize those pictures, okay? Could you visualize the picture that's on top of the P and the D, the lip hoppers? Can you see it in your head, or could you just visualize it right on top of it on the table?
So I can see the puff of air, and you can only see mostly lips and no teeth. And
Okay, good. And what about the up above the K and the G? What picture do you visualize right there? Can you talk about that?
still has a puff. The tongue's the back. You don't see as many teeth, but the mouth is more open. That's what I see there. Good.
And what's that tongue doing?
That's a tongue scraper.
And what do you visualize above the T and the D?
Lots of teeth, still a puff. This is the tongue tapper, because the tongue's in the front
Okay.
and top.
So now I know that she's not only visualizing it, she can visualize it, but she can also talk about it too. Okay? So I want you to keep visualizing those pictures of it, and that'll help you. Okay? So now we can do the same thing. We can go back to our triangle here. I can give her any one of those, and she should be able to give me the other two. This time without the pictures there. So we're visualizing the pictures now. Okay? Because when they're reading and spelling, are they going to have those pictures there with them? No. Are they going to be visualizing in their mind so they can always retrieve them? That's the goal, right? Okay, so give me the quiet tongue scraping.
No, oops. It's a tongue scraper. Quiet.
Okay. Let's pretend that you did the T, and I can show you a little bit of error handling.
I said that was the tongue scraper.
Okay. Just like what Leah says in good.
We learned something from
So we can error handle, and we can respond to the response. Right? Respond to what she chose. And let's identify what's good about that. What did she get right about that? I said, give me the quiet tongue scraper, and she chose the T. Did she get anything right about that?
Still tongue.
Okay, anything else?
It is quiet.
Yes. I agree with you that that uses the tongue, and it's a quiet sound. Okay? But when we make that sound, I want you to feel what your tongue is doing. Is your tongue tapping or scraping? Tapping, yeah. So that's the tongue tap. Okay? I want us to find the tongue scraper where your tongue scrapes. Okay? So that's how you would error handle that. Error handling is tough. And that's where we're going to do a lot of practice with that. Okay? And I want to keep modeling that. Okay? What else can I do? Okay? I want you to show me the B.
This is letter B.
And give me the sound. And give me the label.
Lip popper.
Okay, see how quick that is. Right, we want it to be that fast before we can move on.
With
Right.
those 6.
That's that.
Yeah.
With that initial. cares?
And do we do all 4 practices in the same lesson?
All 4.
Like
styles that
the
you
said.
assemble, the receptive, the expressive.
And this is not at the end of our first session, but this is at the beginning of the second lesson
It depends on the student.
and the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, this is going to be after you introduce the first 3, before you introduce the next 2.
So you want them comfortable, pretty proficient.
With these
Yes.
6 before you
Which
move on to
means we
something.
have to be comfortable and proficient
Yeah.
with it, which is the problem right now. Because they're all going.
Poor Grant, he's getting it Tuesday.
And then, our next step could be taking away everything. Okay? And you can practice the visualizing again. What letters did you visualize all the way over here to the left? What letters did you put right there, all the way to the left? Can you still see them there on the table?
No. P and the B.
Okay. And what were the letters that were in the middle right there?
K and G.
And what were the letters that were in the middle? Okay. So again, we're visualizing it, making sure to achieve. And if you close your eyes, could you see that? What were the letters that were in the middle again?
K and G.
Okay. Just checking to see if you can visualize it right there. And then I can do the same thing. Does that make sense? So have them assemble first, then practice the triangle. Take away your pictures, practice the triangle again. Take away the symbols, practice your triangle again.
Now, another one, wasn't it, in the book they mentioned, just having the pictures up there?
Yeah, you could do that.
And then talk about which, and so that you make sure they're getting the term right, which one is a tongue tapper, which one is this?
Yeah.
And then add the letters.
Yeah.
I'm going with that because my first student, this will be a kindergartner. So,
But they're kind of doing that during the assembly process.
okay.
So is receptive taking away the letters?
Receptive is they need to hear from me and repeat it, what I said to them. Expressive is they have to tell me the other 2 parts of the triangle.
Okay.
Receptive, they're hearing, expressive, they're speaking. Hearing.
And they should be able to receive and express all parts of the triangle. And they're doing that through visualizing and verbalizing and feeling if they need to, and looking in the mirror.
So steps 2 and 3 are happening at the same time. You're first throwing out the
Yeah,
first.
pretty much you can't have one without the other.
The first vertex of the triangle as for her receptive, and then she can see the other 2 as expressive. And then you keep going around
Yeah.
like that. Okay.
Which part are your kids going to fight you on?
The talk.
Having to tell us.
The expressive.
Didn't want to talk.
They don't want to talk,
They don't want
Don't want to talk.
but it's such an important skill.
But what did you say? First, they have everything in front of them, then you take away.
First assemble,
Right.
I'm going to mix it all up,
Mhm.
and they kind of like a puzzle, and they have to put it together. And they have to talk out loud what they're doing, why they're doing it. And if they're not giving you what you want, if they're not saying it, then ask them. I had to ask her a few times. But the last one she did, she said it all. I was like, wow,
She
you're the
gave
greatest
up.
student ever.
But then, as you move on, you take away, and this step, you take away the letters.
So assemble it,
Right.
then do your triangle, receptive, expressive. Then we can take away the pictures.
Okay.
You can visualize those pictures, visualize and verbalize. Go back to your triangle. Then you can take away the letters, visualize and verbalize those letters. And go back to your triangle.